We are live.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Ari.
Hello,
How
Terry.
you doing, mate?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Welcome to Reflections on this Wednesday, the 17th of April, 2024, ahead of round 6 against the Giants. Are you up and about, or are
Yeah,
you...
well, we had this conversation literally just before we went live. Surprisingly, it's definitely definitely going to be the hardest test so far. I think, in Brisbane away included in that. But yeah, it's going to be a real fascinating game on Saturday because we could lose. Surprisingly, I mean, I don't know how much stock you take in sportsbet.com.au, but we are going into this game favourites.
Are we really?
Yes, $1.81 to 204, which is surprising. Yeah, it could go either way. I don't know. I think you said that you feeling a win. I'm not as confident, but I don't know.
I don't think it is as dire as what our fan base is making it out to be.
But I agree. I've been hearing shouts that finals is done and all this stuff. I'm like, guys, come on.
I got a message last night from someone who will remain nameless saying, looks like the season is over.
4-1.
And I was like,
how far have we come?
How did Carlton supporters forget how to lose?
Yeah. We were saying we're 1-4 and saying the season's still on not too long ago, and now we're 4-1. The season's done.
I just can't.
In fairness, though, yesterday was just bad news on top of bad news on top of bad news. With obviously it was started on Monday, whenever it was, with all three of them going down, and then it was Sard for 6, and then you delve deeper and it's Motlop for 5, and then Marchbank on top. It did kind of come on quickly. So I get the emotional reaction, but guys, come on, we're 4-1.
I
It's all right.
No, I don't. We're adults, and if you don't get better at managing your emotions, that's on you. I disagree. I disagree. Like, we're talking about grown adults.
Yeah,
we're not talking about, if you lost your shit, I would get it. You haven't. No, as in, a lot of the people going wild are grown 40-plus-year-old human beings.
Yeah.
Who, I don't know. I just look at things differently. I have a bit of maybe it's a sickness. I love when it's difficult. I just think being tested is, I love it. Like, I'm competitive, and, bring on all the tough, make it as tough as possible is what I say. Let there be no doubt when it's all said and done and we lift up the cup. Let there be no doubt that it was done the hard way.
Yeah, no, I agree. I also think the month ahead, like, realistically, the month ahead's tough, or the next 5 games is tough. Even if you lose our next 5 games, the season's not done, which we won't do that. But in a cataclysmic world, in which we do, it's fine.
Jimmy, spot on.
Yeah, I did say that. It's so self-righteous. It's so self-righteous, isn't it?
Is it?
No, it's not. Maybe a little bit.
Well, you want to know and hang around people that want to do things the easy way?
No.
How is it self-righteous? Like, I want it to. I like the challenge. I think it's great.
I think that's a great thing. I think it's a great attribute to have.
So why is it self-righteous?
Some people could look at it that way.
Which people?
The people who want it to be easier.
Do you think it's self-righteous?
No.
Then why'd you say it?
Because I live.
You're doing the David Teague hold your neck thing.
I don't simply live through the prism of my own thinking. I do. I expand my brain and look through different perspectives. That's why.
You're talking rubbish now.
No, I'm not.
You are talking absolute nonsense now.
Sorry, I just like to make my brain.
Call me self-righteous, mate. Stand on your own feet.
I said I didn't. I just said
Call
that
me
that is
self-righteous.
self-righteous, but depending on who you ask. But I agree. I think living on the hard mode's great. Not in the moment, but in the
I
end of it.
think you, I think, I think you are backtracking,
I
and
never backtrack.
yeah, you are doing it right now, and you've realised that you are not bold enough to go with that opinion, and you just want to put it on someone else.
All I'm going to say is that if we did lose our next 5 and we're sitting and we're going into the game against Gold Coast sitting 5-4, clip that last minute of what Terry was saying about living life on hard mode, and then play it back to him and see what he says.
I think it's easy to look at the negatives because you know what? Most things don't work out. Winners are in the minority. Winners are in the minority. Only a minority of people can win.
Depending on what you look at as winning, right? What's
Coming
winning
first.
to you?
Winning the thing. Winning first.
So if Carlton don't win the premiership, you're not a winner.
I didn't say that.
Well then who's winning?
We're talking about Carlton.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Well, you're 0-2 already, mate. Fuck. Maybe we will lose this week.
I was just simply clarifying because I thought you were talking because you were talking about you were living life on hard mode and how you like to live it in hard mode.
I think it's good for us. I think the test of the injuries. I think the injuries, the news about the injuries is, I think, a good test of the list and the depth.
No, I agree.
And if we're going to be a premiership team, we have to prove that we have a premiership list, not just a best 22 or 23. And all of a sudden, we're going to see new boys play.
I did see Swamp tweeted, we have the second highest games, game experience on the injury list this round, which I think is a good indication of the level we're in. Only Richmond are top of that actually, and quite ironically, West Coast are bottom, considering what's happened to them over the last 24 months, which I thought was quite funny. But I think I do agree. I definitely is going to test our list. And I mean, how last year we had injuries as well. We weren't fit 100% of the time last year as well. So we'll be fine. We'll be right. We'll win this week.
You know what's going to happen for sure?
We'll be there, and we'll rock up.
You know what's definitely going to happen for sure? The game will keep going. The season will keep going.
The sun will rise.
Next season we'll come back and we'll do it all over again. I guarantee it.
Exactly. That's the beauty. That's the beauty about sport. It happens next year as well.
Correct. All right. So we've got that out of the way.
That was an interesting 8 minutes.
Ari likes to try and test the waters as he grows up into this big, strong man.
No, I like the challenge. I like the challenge.
Yeah, you like to challenge. It's good. It's good fun. But what we're going to do is we're going to reflect on our memories against the GWS Giants, and then we're going to get you guys in the chat, guys and girls in the chat, to reflect as well. Ari, did I go first last week, or did you go first? How did we do this?
Last week was you went first.
I went first. Okay. Would you like to go first this week?
I will go first. Thank you.
All right. Take us through.
There's been a lot of. I wouldn't call it I wouldn't call it like a lot of. I said cataclysmic twice in 8 minutes. That's a record.
What is the definition of cataclysmic?
Something that's catastrophic. Regardless of what Google says, I'm not wrong. I can't be wrong. What does it mean?
Of a natural event, large scale and violent.
Close enough.
0-3.
I would say injuries are. God, come off it. Come off it. There's been a lot of I feel like we've spoken about losses recently, or at least if not the fact that we've spoken about losses, we've spoken about wins that have happened in bad times, the David Teague era. So I was debating whether or not to do a couple of games. I know the one you're going to pick, and there's a bunch we could go through with the Giants. 2019 springs to mind, which I'm sure we'll touch on later. 2020, the last game of that season as well. 2021, sorry, the last game of that season was interesting as well, which we might touch on. But I want to go to 2022. I want to go to 2022, the first game. The first real, I think it was the first real moment where we thought, oh, there's some corner has been turned here. Because we hadn't won. I think that was our first win at the Showgrounds ever.
No, I think we might have won at the Showgrounds the year before in 2022.
That's the game I'm talking about.
Oh, sorry. I thought you said
Yes.
last year. My
No,
bad.
no,
My bad.
2022.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Yes, you're right.
So it was the first game in 2022, which I think was round 9. We had just come off the back of beating, it would have been North and Adelaide, and go out, and then we would have beat Sydney the next week. That was the first real moment under Michael Voss, which I think we all thought, hold on, something like a corner is like a corner is shifted here, because it was still, jury was still out. Obviously, we had the good start, and then we kind of fell away, lost the Gold Coast, lost the Frere, and then we kind of were like middling in that stage, and then we beat the Giants over there. The first time we'd done that in our history, and we thought, okay, something is definitely going on. So it was round 9. It was GWS 11-9, 75 to Carlton 15-15, 105. Leon Cameron's final game in charge of the GWS Giants, which is another interesting tidbit coming out of that game. It was a back and forth game. Carlton kicked the first 4 goals of the game. The Giants come back and kind of restore parity. It goes into halftime level. Carlton go into the 3-quarter time break, 6 points up, and then it was a kind of an onslaught in the last quarter, 5 goals to 1. Charlie Kerner with the first 2 goals of the last quarter. He was unsighted until that point, but you can't keep the king down for long. It might not be his game, but he can definitely have moments. And I think this game is also, or this last quarter in this game is probably typified by that Sam Doherty goal from outside 50, which really put the flag into the ground and saying that we're here. That kind of sealed the victory for us. We went on to beat Sydney the next week to go 8-2. And it was all rosy from there. Obviously, the season ended how the season ended, but it was probably one of the best times to support Carlton, especially in recent memory, because nothing could go wrong at that stage, regardless of results. And the vibes were just so high, and that was a big. I think I saw this on Twitter not long ago, but this Michael Voss era has just been kind of all these curses that have come back that we've had over the last however long. He's just slowly but slowly ticked them off. The Adelaide Oval curse, the playing finals curse, the winning finals curse, and I think winning at the Showgrounds was probably the first. And then beating Richmond round 1, not too long before that, and then he goes over to the Showgrounds to win in the club's for the first time in the club's history. It's pretty good win. What are your kind of recollections of that?
I must have been watching it, obviously, from home. I didn't go to that game. I don't really remember, which is a really weird way to reply to that. I remember Doc's goal.
Yep.
I remember watching it, but I don't really remember off the top of my head.
It was a Sunday afternoon, round 9,
Yep.
10th of May, or 15th of May, even if this is jogging any memories. Your boy Zach Fisher kicked the sealer in the last quarter. This was Jesse Motlop's first game. He kicked the goal halfway through the third, or at the start of the third quarter.
I remember that photo now.
In the white Guernseys. Corey Durden as well kicked 2 goals. Sam Walsh with 22 goals and 31 touches. Tom DeConning played as the single ruck as well that game, which kind of looking back on pretty weird considering only now he's really started to establish himself as that. And of course, this was the very unfortunate game, which Zach Williams went down and missed. Subsequently, would then go on to miss 18 months of football, barring one game, which very unfortunate. But he's back in the side now, doing beautiful things. So, this game we needed it. We needed a scout. What's he smile about? Oh no! Why doesn't it?
Sorry, continue. I've got something so good lined up for us all.
Oh.
Go.
Oh God.
Go on.
This was the first kind of scalp. Obviously, the Giants didn't have that good of a year that year, but they made finals the year before. They'd won a final the year before, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, no, they did. So they weren't, obviously, they didn't have the best of seasons. It was on Cameron's last game, but it was a pretty big scalp at that time, and it was the first real kind of, oh shit, we're actually pretty good, and something could actually happen here. Winning on the road as well, which was good for the first time we had done that. That first time we won on the road that year as well. I'm pretty sure, if my memory serves. So, Yeah, good vibes all around for that game. Good vibes all around.
I remember now. It was the week before we played Sydney at Marvel.
Yes.
Yep. I remember now.
Which I maintained that game against Sydney, which we may touch on when we verse them, but that was one of the best moments I've had as a Carlton supporter.
I agree. I've got something for us. I can't believe we haven't done this yet. Ari, are you ready?
I'm nervous.
Look at what I found.
One more for the road, everyone. Up the baggers!
Stand by. Love it. Alrighty. Ari Stamatakos, mate.
Mate, there's been a lot of Lockie Plowman love. Yes. No, play that.
You good to go? I didn't get your consent, but I want to make sure that you're on the same page.
Hold on, wait. I just want some. I want some context to what I'm about to say.
I don't know what you're about to say. I don't remember.
No. Well, I'm talking more Lockie Plowman context today. The fucking respect needs to be as loud as the disrespect was.
Agreed.
Shown to him, and I've backed him. And when he plowed through that player with first 30 seconds, I was like, all right, not only is he on today, everyone else is on. We spoke about the barometer from the start. He fucking showed it. And I'm so proud of this group, man.
You and I spoke about Plowman maybe on the rest, or during the week, whenever it was. And
it was after the Gold Coast game.
After Gold Coast. And we spoke about how he just didn't seem to have the attacking flair to his game that he had when he first got to the club, but especially today, it's like he was willing to really take the game on and just be a bit more forceful.
He felt like he was developing something. There was he was taking that next step, and I feel like a lot of players today took that next step. I mean, him, Zach Fisher, I thought had one of the. I mean, we've spoken about his season so far. He's been immense so far, and today was another example of that. And then your boy. Can we talk about Corey fucking Durden? You pick on well, don't you?
You know what? We are officially changing this YouTube channel name to Corey Durden Abroad, and that's what it's going to be named from now on.
Mate, it fully deserved. Is he a small forward? Is he a half forward? Is he a midfielder? Is he everything? Because he can do whatever he wants. Because I'm not sure we're stopping him at this stage.
I'm trying to think. It's so early.
That's absurdly long. Yeah. Let's stop that. Not very good.
A few things.
How's the development of just everything across the board, right?
A few things. Number one, Ari, you've really grown up.
I have.
And developed. Number two, Kennedy was in the thumbnail back then. Kennedy plays his 100th game this week against the Giants.
He does. There you
go. I think Corey Durden plays well against GWS in general, and that was no different.
Yes, kick too.
I might get you to look into that in terms of his output against the Giants. Maybe not now.
He's kicked his most career goals against GWS Giants.
There you go. So a little bit more information.
6 in 5 games. His next best is 3 against Adelaide.
What I remember about this game is the lighting going super orange in the studio that night. I didn't quite have it figured out. I think I had just got the new lights, and it obviously fit because we played the orange team. But yeah, that I now remember that week.
Yes. No. How's the? Yeah, I do look so young. That's something.
Your face is come in a little bit.
Yeah. It probably has something to do with. I mean, I was going to say the facial hair is not that good now, but back then it was just horrendous. It's also amazing what some color in the background can do, right?
Was that the same room?
Yeah.
Wow. Also, I noticed your camera positioning. You weren't looking down at your camera. Your camera's like,
Well, now I actually have one instead of using the laptop one. It's just development across the board.
See? Sometimes, you know what? It's a great segue into what I'm about to talk about, the game that I'm going to talk about. Because
quickly. I spoke about Lockie Plowman. He had 14 touches, 8 marks, 3 tackles, one inside 50. He won a free kick, which was great. 10 uncontested touches and a contested mark. So,
well done, my boy. Yeah, well done. The disrespect needs to be as loud as
Yeah. What? I'm sorry.
You were right. You were not wrong.
I was.
You were right.
I
back you in.
I'm going to go back and watch his highlights from that game.
You were. I think he played on Toby Greene from memory that day.
Maybe.
No. You were bang on, and I will not take that one away from you at all. Well done. Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You got to win one.
3-1. We're back.
Okay. No,
We're
there's
back.
no competition. So I'm going to talk
Now
about.
there's not.
I'm going to talk about round 14, 2021.
No, way to bring down the mood.
Yeah, I know. But I think it's important that we talk about losses. I mean, yes, I know that the chat will probably talk about that time that the Giants had 16 on the field. We will talk about that later because it comes up every year. But I want to cast our minds back to round 14, 2021. We play the Giants at the Showgrounds. I flew up to Sydney for this one. It was cold. It was miserable. And this is how the recap goes. Ari, who wore number 26 for us on that night?
I'm horrendous with jumper numbers anyway.
Chat?
26, 21, 2026. Oh, no, that's not it.
2021, round 14. Who wore number 26? If you're watching this on stream live, don't Google it. Try and figure it out.
Is he still playing for us?
No, he's not. Long hair.
Doesn't help.
It does.
Position?
Oh, not a forward.
Oh, that doesn't. Jesus. No idea. Actually, no idea.
Not Gibbs. It was Luke Parks.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway.
Didn't he play not last year, the year before? 23. No, he played last year, didn't he?
Last year he was in, I think he might have been in the VFL last year. No, he's not on the list anymore.
No, sorry, he played. No. He played in 2022. That's it. Yeah. That's besides the point.
Okay, so I'm going to run you through the game, and I was at this game.
Famous.
The Showgrounds is famous for a lot of reasons, but also it gave me a really good light bulb moment to reflect on a lot of things. So the Showground stadium kind of goes like this. So you have the stadium, it goes around, it goes around, it goes around, it goes around, and then it stops, and then there's a gap. And that's where I was sitting with all the Carlton supporters. And in that gap, it's like a wind tunnel, and it hits you, and it's cold. It was like freezing. And it makes it more cold because the wind keeps hitting you. So I'm sitting there, copping the wind all night. It's just uncomfortable. Toby Greene, this is the infamous torpedo quarter time siren.
What a shoe. In reflection.
Great kick. Fair enough.
Yeah.
We didn't start off very well. Finlayson hits the first goal.
Actually, can I sorry to interrupt, but this is one of these games in which this is one of these games which lives in infamy for a lot of reasons, right? Especially on the blue broad kind of bore, right? By memory, you were of high appraisal of the way that we actually physically started this game. We, for the first 90 seconds, no, this is fact because I know. We apparently had a really good first 90 seconds. And in your review of the game, you thought that was going to be the barometer for the rest of it. And then...
You're right.
Yeah.
In the review, I think I remember saying that you know how we're going to be in the first few contests, and we looked like we were on.
Yes. And then we weren't. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. And then we weren't. Are you done?
Yes. Or maybe.
May I continue with my summary of the game?
You may.
Thank you. Toby Greene torp, quarter time siren from just inside the square, 33-13 at quarter time. Harry Mackay gets his first disposal of the game with 14:50 to go in the second quarter, kicks a goal. Kieran Briggs, that's the first half. Now, after making those comments about how we started in the first 90 seconds, you've got to keep in mind, 12 Carlton players did not register a tackle in the first half. So I want you to take that fact and remember it for when I finish this.
That's obscene. That's an absurd amount.
12 of them.
It's half the 10.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ.
We get to the third quarter. Kieran Briggs takes an uncontested mark, 12 minutes 45 to go in the third for another goal to make the score 25-64. At this point, I lost my shit. And it started off with being cold and uncomfortable. Then I started watching what was unfolding, And then I saw the effort and the application, as we used to call it, just look off. And we get to call half time and it's, 12 plays, no tackles. And then for whatever reason, this mark, number 32, I'll never forget it, takes an uncontested mark, goes back, kicks the goal. We're down 39. The life was sucked out of us. We had kind of capitulated, and when you just knew Carlton weren't going to win a game, it was like that. So that's what happens. 25-64. All of we're all seething. We're screaming at them. We're screaming at you guys don't care. You blokes don't care. Everyone was having a go in the crowd at them. It was really awkward and silent. It was like a cemetery there. So then we end up going and kicking the next 4 in a row. I believe it was.
The Connie kicks the fourth, I think, of that stretch.
So, hang on. Mackay marks with 4 minutes 24 remaining in the third quarter to make it an 18-point game, 46-64. Then De Koning does make it a 12-point game, kicks it from the goal square on the ground. Yeah. It's a 12-point game. We've gone from being completely deflated and angry to all of a sudden feeling kind of awkward because we kind of gave up on them and they'd made it. It was game on. We're in the third quarter and it's only a 12-point game. Finlayson kicks his fourth goal with 2 minutes 29 to go in the third. You might remember it. It's the play where he sort of taps it to himself.
He's
slips over.
Yeah, 1 out in the forward 50. Yeah.
Yep. Mark Pitto. Mark inside forward 50 with 15 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the fourth quarter to bring it back to a 12-point game. It's game on, and we found our voice. Then a series of unfortunate events. Toby Greene goal makes it, with 14 minutes to go, makes it an 18-point game. Finlayson kicks his fifth, 11:48 to go on the fourth. Toby Greene lines up with a minute to go. Giants up by 30. He runs around Nick Newman, kicks it to Hopper. Umpire says, play on, not 15. He runs around, kicks the goal. Giants win 16 goals, 6, 102 to Carlton, 9 goals, 12, 66. It was awful. It was painful. And this was the last time I did something where I was really ashamed and embarrassed and reflected. I blew my lid, lost my shit. Ari didn't have the ability to control my emotions, as I was talking about earlier. And I stood at the top of the race and I yelled out, it's not good enough. It was garbage, which it was, to be fair, but you don't do it in that way. I remember I called the president on the Monday and said, I'm really sorry, but this is what happened. And it was not a good reflection. And the reason why I bring it up is because I think a couple of things. I think the way in which the guys, we just lost last week, but the way in which they are applying themselves now overall is so much better than what it was back then. It's funny because a lot of the guys that we complain about missing this week played in this game in 2021. For all the talk about the training lows, I think we work harder now than ever. I don't think we worked hard enough back in 2021. And I just think everyone's improved since then, myself included, yourself included. And sometimes you need to go back and remember how bad it got to remember how far we've come.
Well said. I agree. It was was that the worst that season? Oh man, no. Lucky kick at 7. Yeah. Which is actually grim to think about considering how bad that day was in the grand scheme of things, because we just come off the bye. We just come off the bye, or maybe just before the bye, one of the two, and it was off the back of our horrid fortnight in Sydney, where we lost to Sydney and a waffle West Coast team, which really put the knife through the season, regardless of whatever happens towards the back end. I remember watching that 21, probably in lockdown at that stage. Who knows? I assume we probably might have been, which just adds a lot of kind of context to probably the way that a lot of it probably adds context to the way, maybe not how a lot of people reacted. I'm sure you probably were there kind of there to experience it firsthand. But it was we've spoken about it ad nauseum because there's been a lot of games that we've spoken about so far, which has been in this 2021 period. It's just the frustration and that this thing that's meant to be your release is not giving you the ability for it to be the release. So the frustration compounds and it just becomes this kind of massive thing that just eventually blows up. And it was one of our many trips up there obviously before what would happen the year after, where we just couldn't get the job done. And I think it's always worse because it's the Giants and because of their expansion team and the fact that they have before kind of the game that I spoke about, we had been their bunnies. We had been, or they had been our bunnies, or whatever. Like they would always just win against us, regardless of what would happen. I mean, there was that one kind of anomaly in 2017 where we won by a point, but apart from that, it was like, we'd verse the Giants and we'd lose again because that's what always happens. Just a real frustrating time all around. And I think it's quite ironic that the players that we were frustrated with at that time, and now the players that we are frustrated aren't playing now. Kind of goes through in a sense. Kind of goes through, goes kind of 180. But the one positive out of that game is that it saved. I wouldn't say saved Matt Kennedy's career, but Matt Kennedy took the opportunity. Yeah. That's what I'll say, because I think it's unfair to say that that game saved his career. Matt Kennedy took the opportunity and was probably one of the only few that applied himself. Speaking about application, applied himself in that game and was on the rookie list at that stage. 1 year deals,
Don't
maybe.
remember.
Oh, he wouldn't have been on a heap regardless. But one of the very few kind of silver linings that came out of that game is that we have been able to have him and playing in his best football ever since, which is good.
Yeah, a few comments here. Great name here, Rat Poison, Daughter of Suicide. I can't see anything wrong with berating terrible coaching and incompetent players. It's understandable. It was toxic. Yeah, it had a toxic feel about it, no doubt. We were so frustrated because we paid top dollar for people who weren't performing. Yeah, so this was at a time where, I mean, obviously you're investing so much time and energy, and I guess I was just still figuring out the balance of, at that point, I couldn't compartmentalize that it is a game. And it's a fantasy that we all live in and all of that. And I remember speaking to someone who worked at another club and telling them this is what happened. And they said, you need to understand, because this person also used to work for a struggling club. And I was told, like, it's the lowest, most darkest feeling when you're coming down the race. You've played well and your own fans are like screaming at you. It's just it's a scary sensation. And so, yeah, that was one of probably 2 or 3 things in my career where I'm like, never doing that again. I knew straight away that I had done something wrong, even though I didn't say anything bad. And even though what I said was technically not wrong, because it was fucking garbage and it was not good enough. I didn't swear. I didn't do anything like that. But just to, let that frustration out on them, I guess part of it's you care so much. The other part is you got to learn how to deal with your emotions and how to get your message across. But I think we can all learn something from that. I know I did. And then even just watching, and why I'm a little bit less angry now is probably because we saw them do something special finally. And then also I watched the application. I know that we were inefficient last week, but the general application to the contest is so much better. Yeah.
We were playing. And we were like, it's there's a difference between playing football and playing football. Like we were there every contest, like we were playing every possession, playing every contest. Yeah. Whereas, there were some periods during that, not even that game that season, and that probably from 2015 till 2022, where it felt like, geez, we're taking quarters off, we are taking games off, like we just weren't doing it. Which, look, you can question, you can understand lack of talent because not everyone's Chris Judd, but you can't understand lack of effort because everyone can try. That's the frustrating thing. But it's
not wrong. You're not wrong. The players were also going through it. Yes, they were playing footy, and it was just a time where irrational behavior was happening because it was an irrational time. No excuse, but I didn't handle it very well. Barmy, welcome. Welcome to YouTube membership. Ari, have you ever lost your shit at the footy, at the players after the game? You ever screamed over the race?
No, not nah. No, I'm far too passive for that.
But you are a bit lippy, so like you've got it in you.
No, this is the difference. I am well, firstly, we are via satellite here. So I can be lippy as much as I want. Yeah, nothing's gonna happen. Which I'm fully aware of, which is great. And God forbid I was lippy to you in person. Hello, Terry. How are you? But at the footy, I am quite passive. I do. There was just one moment which I may as well bring up just because we're talking about it now.
Go on.
It was this isn't going off at I think umpires obviously aren't fair game, but I think everyone loses their shit.
Mate, I've said some. Yeah. I still do say some things to umpires.
Yeah, I don't think I've necessarily gone off at our own players even during the darkest times.
Right.
Because I've always been that. But I've always been like, bro, I was still David Teague in halfway through 2021, right? I've always lent towards the good in the world. But it was when we was Geelong last year.
Early in the season.
Yeah. Last quarter, I was sitting level 2 on the railing behind the goals. So just for Corey Durden's banana kick, I was like on that. I saw it directly go through the goals from where I was sitting. Right, the ball gets kicked into our defense 50 last quarter. Tom DeConning goes up, takes a mark, and gets fucking whacked. Right, gets absolutely clobbered. I can't remember who it was by. And when I tell you, I don't think I felt right because I could see it from where I was sitting. I saw DeConning mark, and I saw this Geelong player go up and just give him the biggest ear massage. I don't think I've grabbed the railing, leaned over it, and just gone off. Like just it came from like my gut. It was like 18 years of just anger was just expelled in this one very meaningless moment. But that's just one thing that I remember. He ended up getting the 5th man penalty for that, so all was good. But that's probably the only time I've ever gone. Yeah, no, it's crazy. I know. Like I should be locked up for that. But like,
no, it's good. Good on you. May that be the worst thing you do.
Yeah, I'm very. I am. For those who have gone to the footy with me, like Ask Jazz, I am very surprisingly and frustratingly passive. I don't really show any emotion, regardless of what's happening in the game.
I think what I've learned is, I mean, look, the players have to and have taken a level of responsibility. Ultimately, the frustration was at the football club and the environment in which the football club had allowed its players to operate based off the culture that was built. Hindsight's great right now. Now we know that after this Giants game, round 14, 2021, they ended up, that this was the beginning of the review. It's been said that the next morning, that's when the powers that be, because remember I think the board or president, like they all went up for the game and they all stayed with the players hotel. They were all there. And yeah, it's been said that after this game, that's when the real red flag was raised. And this is when the review started going in motion. So
was this before or after the first casualty of that review being John Barker? I think.
I don't remember, but we played Sydney either the week before or the week after. Probably the week after.
No, I think it was before.
Before?
Okay. Yeah, because this was round 14, and I don't think we were Sydney in 15 because we would have versus West Coast the week after that, and we definitely did versus West Coast in round 15 or round 16.
No, we played Sydney in round 11.
Yeah. So the week after this would have been Adelaide at Marvel.
Sorry, I've got this wrong. It was round 9, not 14. No, that's yours, Ari.
That's mine.
What am I tripping?
No, we were coming off the bye. The week before the bye, we'd versus West Coast. The week before that, we'd versus Sydney. And then the week after this GWS game, we'd versus Adelaide, I think.
Gotcha. Okay. There you go.
It's something along those lines. Please don't quote me. I'm probably wrong. But
yeah, fair. So, ladies and gents, those of you watching, what are your memories of the Giants? Any of them? I tried to find a video, Ari, of when we beat them in 2017. I don't know if you've seen it. I was in China.
Oh, wait.
And there's a video, like my mate was filming me during the game while I was lying down in front of the TV watching it. I didn't know he was filming, I'm going ballistic. I don't know where to find it, how to find it, but yeah, if I can find it while we're live here, I will. I've tried my hardest.
That was that was a good day. That was the first day of Liam Jones moving back into the fence.
Yeah,
I'm 99% sure that was one of his first games playing in defence.
interesting.
Which, yeah, I mean, if you go through that game, that was David Cunningham kicked 2 goals, Casbolt with 1 goal, 2 behinds. That was where Casbolt kicked the point from directly in front, and then we turn the ball in. We get the ball back from the kick in, and then Fisher kicks basically a point from the exact same position, and that put us in front.
Gotta find it. I've got to find it.
That was
It's so funny.
11th of June 2017. So we versed the Giants kind of same periods throughout. Throughout, which is quite funny. But yeah, that was a good day. And 2017 we were actually like not. I wouldn't say we were good, but we were like not the worst football team to ever play the game. In 2017, we were like semi-decent at times.
That was when Doc was
Australian,
Australian, right?
Yeah, he was doing beautiful things.
Let's have a look. See if someone's memories. Okay, I think I saw one here. Jimmy, I've yelled out in frustration in the heat of play, like the time the 16 players GWS time, but never at the race. That's just inappropriate. Yeah, 100%. You're right. Jay Baggers, lost my shit last year against the Lions at Marvel. Kennedy was the sub. We were getting smashed. Walked behind the bench, started screaming to get him on. He went on. Oh, dear. I think it was Josh Holden. Yeah, round 10, 2013, Blues win by 94. Was the closest I have been to seeing a 100-point win live. Garlic kicked 4. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, if
What
I'm not
else have we
mistaken,
got?
did 2013? No, I think I'm thinking of the year before or the year after. No, I'm not. Troy Menzel kicked 2 goals that game.
Yeah,
I love Troy Menzel. I don't know why.
yeah.
I just love him.
What else have we got?
I think
Petra. A player once told me, don't take this the wrong way, but the players don't play for you fans. I could deal with bad defeats better after that. Didn't take it personally. Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't like our fans if I played as well. I've learnt that as well over the last couple of years.
very fickle. Very fickle.
I would be petrified to get injured, but I would work my ass off. It's such an interesting dichotomy. You're working your ass off. You're trying to get a game.
Well,
You get injured, and the first thing, like Zach Williams, for example, last year, the first thing he thinks about when he does his ACL is what are the fans going to say, and breaks down crying, as opposed to like his own life. Sister was sick with cancer. Like, imagine that.
Yeah. It's one of the very few careers in which there are, in Carlton's case, 90,000 external people plus who are so emotionally invested in your job.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't necessarily care about you; they just care about your employer.
True. That's a good point.
Yeah. So it's different to a singer who has like a very popular artist who has millions and millions of fans, but they care about that artist. Whereas we don't. Well, obviously we do care about our boys, but our interest is the Carlton Football Club. Like we don't support Patrick Cripps; we support the Carlton Football Club.
Good point.
Which is a very interesting. That's one of the few kind of I would say unspoken about in dynamics that comes with being a professional sportsman in a team environment.
That we don't necessarily care about the players. I think.
Oh no, I'm not saying we don't care about the players, but from a like just like comparing it to a singer. Taylor Swift, she got 180,000 people across 2 days. They came to see her and only her, whereas 95,000 people go to the G to watch Carlton versus Melbourne. 95,000 people aren't going to watch Tom de Koning, aren't going to watch Patrick Cripps. They're going to watch Carlton, if that makes sense. And it's just kind of a subsection of that. And yeah, it's quite bizarre.
Interesting. Oh, I really want to find this video. What was the date when we played
The
GWS?
12th of June.
June?
12th of June, I think it was that day. that
June
year.
2017. It's got to be here.
The 11th of June. 11th of June. Yeah.
The 11th of June? I think, my best mate, Beto, I found it. Okay, stand by. Yeah, I found it. Okay, this was the 2017 game where we won by a point. Oh, this is wild.
Have you watched this back before you batch it?
No, I haven't.
Do you know the contents of this?
I know what happens. Oh, great mark! This is also why I don't do watch-alongs. This is why. Yeah. Oh.
What a point.
I was holding the ball.
It was.
Oh! We can do it!
1 second left. The siren sounds. It doesn't get.
Oh dear.
So funny. That commentary actually brings up an interesting kind of, I wouldn't say tidbit from that game, but Don Ross had ripped someone else's heart out. I think they went through a period in that time where they were winning games, like kind of how like we've kind of been winning them over the last 2 months worth of games. Now Collingwood winning in 2023. They were winning games stupidly close for like the whole season, and then we were the team that pipped them, which is quite funny.
Wow. Yeah, we had no right winning that game. I remember
that. So like their wins, they won a game by 2 points, 3 points, 3 points, 8 points, 16 points, and then we beat them by a point.
Mm-hmm.
How funny.
Oh dear. Good times. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That was 7 years ago, man. That was 7 years ago. Holy shit.
Jesus. I was
watching it on a rusty VPN in China. That's crazy.
Whereabouts in China?
Yixing. It's that's actually, that was in June. At that point, not long afterwards, I started writing some things, and like Blue Abroad was created. I was teaching English in China with my best mate the city was famous for being the teapot city. 1.5 million people, 35 foreigners. So only 35 people that like spoke English essentially.
Wow,
crazy.
Interesting. You should start culture abroad.
Culture abroad?
Yeah. You seem to know a lot about a lot. When in terms of like worldwide culture and stuff.
The more you know, the more you learn, the more you realize. The more you learn, the more you realize, the less you know.
Yeah. The more. Yeah. No, I agree. I definitely
Literally.
agree.
I don't know anything about anything. I just know that I don't know enough. I know that I don't know nothing. I don't know anything.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't know that they don't know nothing.
They do, Ari, don't they?
Are you trying to insinuate something?
Yes, I'm trying to insinuate that you haven't yet figured that part out, but you got time.
Surely the self-awareness and understanding that says a lot.
You're trying to tell me you have self-awareness?
I think so, to a certain extent.
I think we all have a way to go with it, and you're no different. I think you're much more advanced than what I was at your age, though.
Yeah, well, that's not hard, as we've seen.
No, clearly.
But that's self-awareness.
Correct.
What are we talking about?
On that note,
Yes,
it's
on that note.
been a really nice episode for a different reason.
A lot of life lessons.
Any other thoughts before this week?
A bit nervous.
Can we win?
We can win. We
Is
certainly
it
can.
possible? Is it possible to win?
We certainly can win. Will we win is a different story. Yeah, I think we'll win is a different story. I think this guy above me is going to have some things to say about the result, because the Giants midfield's pretty scary and ours has been underwhelming. But the guy above you hopefully can say I can't read Greek.
No way.
No. Do you not know this about me?
I
Okay,
backed
so
you up. I backed
okay.
you up.
Okay, so I can understand it really well. So if you were to speak it to me, I've got that down pat. I can
So if
speak.
I say, how about I read
Okay,
this out?
I can speak it relatively well. No, don't do that.
I'm going to read it out to you.
No, I can speak it relatively well. I cannot. Surprisingly, as someone who did Greek as a subject in school from prep to year 9, I cannot read or write it.
Ari, δεν τρέπεσαι.
No, I am not embarrassed. No, that's what that means. Yeah,
Petra, that's really interesting. I reckon I might have used this phrase.
my mum uses it to me a lot.
I did. I used this phrase in the fan cams that night, 2021, about them. Like, aren't you embarrassed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Friends, my mum uses a lot. I say here, how can you not read it if you did it as a subject in school? So the thing is that what you got to understand is Greek in the school that we went to, Greek was the subject that you would just not do any work in. And try telling that to a 12-year-old Ari who just wants to play Clash of Clans on his iPad, or like play FIFA Street.
Just
did I wag? No, I didn't. I went to a grammar school that had. Did I wag? No, I went to a grammar school that had like 400 kids in the entire school from prep to year 12. I think it would have been pretty obvious if I didn't rock up to class.
Yeah. See, Jimmy knows. I used to go to Greek school on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, stiff. Yeah, so stiff.
Omiros Greek school. Shout out Miss Faturis, who ended up being a teacher of mine at my high school. Fascinating.
That's something that I am very, very grateful that I didn't have to do. Not that I don't think it would have helped, but
I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. I thought you were a little bit more Greek than that. I thought you could speak it and write it.
I can speak it.
I defended you on Twitter once upon a time because someone said you weren't Greek enough and you got upset many years ago. And now I realize he was right.
No, I don't think you can. I think that's very harsh of you. Can you read and write it to a good extent?
I can read it. Yeah, I can read it pretty well. As in, it gets worse every year, but I can read it. Can I write it? I haven't really tried. Probably not. Probably not as good as what I can read it.
Yeah. Well, I think being able to speak it and understand it is the most important thing. And I feel like I've got that, and I can sing it. I'm not going to, but I can.
Peter V knows, mate. Laughing Magpie. The rest. The rest will be back in good time. Right now, this is the rest. We've evolved it, and also Footy Abroad is the rest.
Yeah, so the rest. Very good show last night, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, the rest. The concept of the rest was to have something on the channel that spoke about other teams. And now we've turned that into Footy Abroad. So there you go.
Yeah.
Petra. Wow, I learn more about you every time. What? Went to Greek school in Brunswick. Can you read this, Ari? Are you serious?
What do you want from me?
What's the first letter here?
Socrates.
Hey, you can.
So there you go. Maybe it is a confidence thing. I don't know.
It is. It is. It's like that meme. Well, I can't do it. You can. You can.
Yeah. Okay.
Socrates School had to also learn ancient Greek. Do you know much about Socrates? The story?
That is a name of one of the houses in my school. We had 4 houses. Get this right. This is how much of a Greek school we were. We had obviously you have houses when you're in school for like athletics days and stuff. There was 4 houses. There was Aristotle, Byron, which isn't Greek, Pericles, and Socrates.
Oh wow.
And guess which one I was in?
You were in Socrates.
No.
You're in Aristotle.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And Aristotle was blue.
Mm.
And we always won. So I mean, it just fits me just perfectly.
Mm. Hey, this is good. Winning doesn't always mean being first. Winning means you're doing better than you've ever done before. That's a good point. You're right.
Winning doesn't always mean being first. Man. Yeah,
That's a good point.
Does this go back to the conversation we had at the start of this episode?
Yeah, the aim. Sorry. Yeah, okay. So the aim is to be better than you ever have been. Yes.
Yes.
And how do you do that without putting things on hard mode?
Yeah, no, good point. Good point.
Ari ise πολύ sexy.
Thank you. Yeah, I know.
Tough Sneezo. Where's this from? Because you've quoted it.
Maybe
this
he's
is good.
thought of it.
This is really good. It's the journey of
yeah.
constant improvement. That
while we're on the topic of quotes, I was listening to the Dylan Friends podcast with Nat Five, and Nat Five very deep thinker, and he goes, he probably quoted this from somewhere, but I've just written this down. He goes, "Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure," which I think is which is something that is a very poignant, very, very, very poignant kind of sentence that we can all live our lives by, I think.
Yeah. Well, if you focus too much on the outcome, you know that the conversation about outcome versus process.
Destination or journey, yeah.
Destination or journey, correct. If you focus so much on destination, you'll never be fulfilled, because once you reach the destination, you realize that you go to sleep and you wake up the next day and there's the next thing to do. Whereas
there's no you can't complete life.
No, you cannot complete life. You die having uncompleted it.
Sorry?
You die having uncompleted. You're still on the journey to perfection, if you want to call it. Like, you haven't figured it all out when you die.
Yeah, no, because you can't. Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, because you can't complete it. Yeah. I definitely agree.
Wow. Ari, namiginis xenos.
I've got no idea what that means.
This is so good.
I've got no idea. Why am I being bullied in my native language? This is stiff.
Not being bullied.
I know. It's fine. Right. What part of Greece? It's a good question.
What part of Greece is your family from, Ari?
Dad's side's from Sparta, and mum's side's from Lefkada.
So you got Spartan blood in you?
This is the exact same. Yes, I do, and this is the same reaction that all my friends have when I tell them that. What's so funny?
I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny.
In fairness, the Chodio is actually not in like Sparta. It's very close to, though.
You do have a warrior spirit. I will give you that.
I know. Thanks.
You do have a warrior spirit. I will say that.
Yeah.
My grandparents are from the villages in Kalamata. They're village people.
Oh, the Ollies.
Yeah. So my grandmother
have you been back?
I've been to Greece. I haven't been to the villages. I need to go see the and see who's there.
I need
to go. Yeah, my grandmother never went to school. Never went to school like a year. Doesn't know how to read or write. Just born to be a housewife and born to, cook and clean. There was 9 siblings. Yeah, different times.
Very different times.
Mm.
Very good. I need to learn to read the
Well,
Cosmos.
There you go. That was a deep and meaningful show tonight, guys. That was really good.
I learned to read the Nils Cosmos. No, I'm not doing that.
Ari, you're like everyone's little brother, right? Just remember that. It's not coming from a place of making fun of you. It's coming from a place of...
No, trust me. Growing up with an older brother, I'm fully aware.
Yes, it comes from a place of, we'll make fun of you. You're like Carlton. We'll make fun of you, But as soon as somebody else makes fun of you,
Yeah,
it's on
all
site.
on. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I take up that role quite well in a variety of circles within my life. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, guys, have a great night. See you tomorrow for the teams. Hey, don't forget, enter your details for the 2 free tickets, premium tickets, level 2. Thanks to our new sponsor, Mr. Cabinets. Teams tomorrow, 5:30. I'll be here just talking all the smack before the teams are announced. Otherwise, Galinichta.
Kann ich nicht so. Ja.
See you, Ari. Bye, guys.
Sehr,